How's my voice sounding?
I don't know, it sounds okay. Maybe you could speak up a little bit.
Fine, asshole.
Do you have any funny opening bits we want to do?
Nope.
Hello, and welcome to Sequel Decay, where we struggle to get through the day one franchise at a time. I'm Bleeding, and with me is Stefan Salehio.
Hi, Bleeding. I'm Stefan Salehio.
We're finally done with Spider-Man month, guys.
I never want to watch another Spider-Man movie again.
This is the last episode of Spider-Man month.
Yep. It's been a long haul. I'm so tired.
I think it's going to be a long, long time before we do another fucking month of franchise stuff.
I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
That was the joke!
It doesn't help that, I've watched, every single one of these movies within, 48 hours before, we start recording the podcast.
I tried to watch these, way before.
I definitely failed.
I mainly succeeded. So this week we're talking about the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
You remember those?
I remember those.
No, you don't.
You're not wrong, actually. We're going to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, released between 2012 and 2014.
Yep.
And they were both directed by the ironically named Mark Webb.
I never put that together until now. And they both star Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker.
I look forward to talking about these movies. Stefan, do you?
No.
That's good. I'm going to kick it off.
Please
Ready?
do.
Good. So, The Amazing Spider-Man is the first of 3 other reboots of the franchise. The 4th theatrically released Spider-Man film. It came out 10 years after the first one.
It's the best of the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yes. It stars Academy Award nominee Andrew Garfield, Oscar winner Emma Stone, BAFTA nominee Rhys Ifans, Golden Globe winner Martin Sheen, 2-time Academy Award winner Sally Field, 2-time Golden Globe nominee Dennis Leary.
Kill me.
And, of course, the love interest from Army of Darkness.
Oh, fuck. You're going to talk about Army of Darkness for 30 minutes this episode again.
Yes, I am.
Oh, joy.
So in The Amazing Spider-Man of Darkness, a young man named Ash Parker is bitten by a genetically altered Deadite, and he gains newfound Deadite-like powers, as well as a chainsaw hand, and defeats evil while solving the mystery of how his friends were killed in the cabin.
Okay, so all of that is bullshit, but if you essentially just look at our plot summary for the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie...
That's this movie in a
That's
nutshell.
this movie. Replace the goblin with the lizard, and you've got this movie. To quickly sum up our opinions, I think we could both say the results were suboptimal?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so before I saw this movie again, I actually thought I was watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I forgot almost everything about the movie minus a couple scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this movie kind of blows.
This is actually one of the only movies I've seen in a foreign country for the first time. I went to see it in El Salvador, and I saw it twice in the same week, because I really liked it when it first came out. I've liked it less every time I've seen it. I think this is probably my 4th time seeing it, maybe 5th.
This is my 2nd time.
And like you said, this is so forgettable. I forgot a couple things, how much, the more I watch it, the more I notice, these kind of glaring flaws I have with it. The marketing for this movie was...
Garbage.
Well, it was garbage, but it was interesting in the sense that they definitely tried to market it as kind of the darker, grittier Spider-Man, because this was kind of, in the wake of the Nolan Batman trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't just be a Spider-Man story, it had to be a dark, gritty Spider-Man story that explored a previously unseen side of him. And they marketed it as such. One of the taglines to a lot of the posters was, "Discover the untold story," or something to that effect. And a lot of that had more to do with Peter's parents, who were mentioned in the Sam Raimi trilogy, obviously, because Peter's an orphan, but not really they weren't really explored to any significant extent. So I guess this was going to do that. This first movie specifically just doesn't really land.
Here are the 2 taglines that you were kind of teasing.
Yeah.
One obviously being "The untold story begins."
Yeah.
And the other one being "His past was kept from him. His search for answers has just begun."
Well, it's literally just the first Raimi movie, but with a shittier color palette. It's not an untold story.
Well, and also Spider-Man's more of a dickhead in this movie.
Yeah, I kinda he's always kind of been that way. Usually, to criminals.
It feels like it's he feels like more of a blatant dickhead in this one. There's a part of me that kind of gets it. Like, in theory, it makes sense because he's just starting out and he doesn't really know what he's doing.
I think he's definitely meant to function more as, like, a very angry character.
Yeah, yes. And I think and I can understand that in theory, but I think in practice it just comes off really stupid.
I think with this movie, like, it really does kind of boil down to a movie that just is less than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
Because the parts, like, on their face value, like, they could be something that's interesting to explore, like Peter's parents, maybe him as a more angry, brooding character, his relationship with Gwen Stacy, which is not particularly well developed in the comics.
Well, in considering who directed this, again, Mark Webb, his last film before this would have been 500 Days of Summer.
Yep.
And it's still a wonderful movie, and I recommend it or something. Because it's good. And it's objectively better than this.
I would imagine so, yeah. I guess if we're specifically talking about the tone of the movie, because this movie the marketing at least did want to give off the impression that this was going to be a dark, gritty Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Who is not generally considered to be a dark, gritty character. I mean, there are definitely dark aspects to his stories, but
yeah, just like Spider-Man Reign in One More Day.
Shut the fuck up. But he's never considered like dark or as violent a character as somebody as Punisher or Moon Knight or even Batman or something.
Oh God, no.
And like, there's nothing wrong with trying to explore that side of him. It's just not really something that's ever been pursued. Well, anyway. I guess Grim Hunt, but that's all I can think of at the moment.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
Since you brought up the Punisher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'd kill to see Thomas Jane play a 16-year-old Peter Parker, but act like the Punisher the whole time?
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Just like Thomas Jane, like 45 to 50-year-old Thomas Jane in a fucking tight-ass Spider-Man outfit that makes his ass look good. And he's 16, allegedly. As he's, like, brutally murdering people with, like, pipe wrenches and fucking, hanging people with, like, chain nooses and shit. Who are you? I'm Spider-Man. This is a crime. This isn't crime. This isn't justice either. This is punishment. It's like that would be great.
It's like cry justice, but
no. This is punishment.
Fucking kill me. Anyway, going back to your earlier crucial point. Spider-Man's ass looks great in this movie because this movie is generally edited kind of badly, and we can talk about that later. So it just kind of lingers too long on a lot of the shots, and one of the shots it lingers on is like Spider-Man lying face down in the concrete, and it's just his very pronounced ass is kind of staring back at the screen.
Also, going back to my initial comment, and then we'll go back to Spider-Man's ass. Mm-hmm. Andrew Garfield was 2 years older than Tobey Maguire was when he started playing Spider-Man.
Yeah, and he doesn't look like a high school.
No, he does not.
I think he looks more so than Tobey Maguire.
Neither does Emma Stone.
Not really, no. Although I think she was closer to early 20s at this point, right?
She was 22. Like, she was 17, I think, when Superbad came out, I'm assuming.
So she'd be about 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't really look like a high schooler, but at least she's closer.
I guess so.
Andrew Garfield could play a college kid at this point. He doesn't look like a high schooler.
Oh, he could play a college kid at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to his ass.
So the movie marketed itself a lot in this very dark tone, and when you actually watch the movie, it's like all aesthetic choices that are darker.
It's still kind of goofy.
It's pretty goofy. Like, the colors are really dark. It takes place at night, like, 90% of the time. There are some, like, kind of very violent scenes.
There's a weird, torture-ish scene.
Yeah.
That doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. This movie's tonally fucking jumbled.
Yeah, there's a scene where Flash, beats the holy shit out of Peter, and it, lasts for way too long, and, goes a bit too much. Flash is a fucking psychopath in this movie.
Oh, yeah. He's my favorite Flash person.
He's my favorite Flash too, not because it's a good portrayal, but because he goes from being an absolute dickhead psychopath who tortures kids and beats the shit out of Peter to Peter's best friend in the school at the end. He just comes up hugging him, and then
he just decks the shit out of Peter, and then suddenly, sorry about your uncle, man.
It's yeah, I heard about your uncle, and if you ever need a shoulder to cry on.
Why don't you cry on my fist in your fucking ass? Like, it's just like watching two guys in a bar, like, smashing each other's faces in with bottles and chairs and tables and anything they can get their fucking hands on. And about 15 seconds later, oh man, you're bleeding pretty bad. A beer will help you out. Let's get you a beer.
Or like watching any hockey fight.
Just the fucking hockey player slits another guy's throat with the fucking skate blade. Oh man, I should really help you up. Let's get you some ice for that throat wound. Oh shit, you're dead. Sorry, bro. We could have been friends, but whoops.
Anyway, I love your alter ego. Yeah, the tone is completely muddled in this movie. It's like it's got a very dark tone. There's a lot of dark green, dark blue, black. It's super ugly to look at. The tone of the dialogue is very quippy.
Yeah.
And it's very lighthearted.
It's very back and forth.
The villain's plot winds up being, I'm going to turn everybody in New York into a lizard because I'm a genius.
Make America Komodo dragons again.
Makta. So
that actually sounds like a really good, like, kaiju movie, actually, Makta.
Yeah. And as for the untold story aspect, they devote very little time to Peter's parents, I feel.
Yeah.
Like, they just kind of throw it in as, like, a 5-minute scene in the beginning, and then they mostly drop it, like, about midway through. It's just kind of a reason for Peter to get mad at Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
And for that whole debacle to happen. It's actually kind of surprising how much they just kind of lifted from... Well, I don't want to say lifted, but, like, how much identical beats it hits from the Sam Raimi movie. Which is, I mean, that's kind of gonna happen when you do a Spider-Man origin story.
Yeah.
Sometimes it literally just does feel like that movie, but with a shittier color palette.
Okay, so Peter Parker's a dickhead in this movie. Like, he's just this, like... You ever heard that song Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne?
Chris, I'm 22. Of course I've heard Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne.
Okay, he's kind of what I'd expect that song to be about.
So I do get a very strong young adult novel wish fulfillment protagonist vibe from him.
Yes, and that's what I was saying. Sure.
I mean, I think we're saying the same thing.
Oh yes,
good. He's kind of outcast, but he's also really hot.
And he's also kind of a rebel, and
like a really snarky and
he's
fast
very
with the jokes.
snarky, but he's very smart because he's good at science, and also he's got a great ass.
Also, he gets away with being a stalker.
Yeah,
that was weird.
That was hot.
Gwen sure thought so. To derail it for a bit, this whole movie does kind of feel like a YA novel adaptation of Spider-Man to me.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, the whole mystery box of Peter's parents, at least in the setup, is like very, your parents were hiding something from you, and you need to find out why and claim your destiny, which was kind of very typical of the teen novels of the era. I'm not saying this is a criticism, it's just kind of a neat comparison.
Actually, you know what? I am going to say that as a criticism. Can I just derail this for a second and say I am so glad
derail my derailment.
Okay, we as a society... I'm so glad that we are so fucking done with mystery box shit.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that that's over, because that little, 5-year period was embarrassing to live in.
I mean, yeah, mystery boxes are, despite what J.J. Abrams says, kind of...
suck.
Yeah, are kind of dumb and hacky.
Yeah, it's just J.J. Abrams going, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing!
Yeah.
It is my firm
belief. And then
belief.
Ryan Johnson saying, hey, here's a cool answer to that. J.J. Abrams saying, nah!
No, I think that was Lucasfilm going, nah!
Well, whatever. Whoever said it, they can blow me. What the fuck were we talking about? Oh, right, Andrew Garfield. Okay. So yeah, I do get a very strong wish fulfillment vibe from this one.
I can't believe I'm saying that the second one actually improves on this.
Yeah?
Because it's the only thing the second one actually improves on.
I mean, yeah, he's great as Spider-Man in the second one.
He's really good as Spider-Man in the second one. He's still not a very good Peter Parker, because I think he's still in that Spider-Man mood, and still kind of in that wish fulfillment boy mood.
You want to know something?
What?
I like him better as both than Tobey Maguire.
Oh.
I'm not going to go super in it, because I made my feelings on Tobey Maguire pretty clear.
Oh, does someone have a hot take?
Does
the fan have a hot take?
I have many good takes. Fuck you, Chris. But
this is a steaming hot pile of trash take you have going here.
Tobey Maguire is a mediocre Peter Parker and a bad Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield is a mediocre Peter Parker and anywhere from a mediocre to great Spider-Man.
I think Andrew Garfield is a bad Peter Parker, but in the second one, a wonderful Spider-Man.
I think a lot of what he does with Spider-Man kind of is either elevated by his interactions with people, or let down by the editing. I think a lot of his work as Peter is elevated by interacting with other people, which I think is the biggest strength of this movie. Yeah. And let down by the editing, which is maybe the biggest weakness of the movie.
Can we talk about the train scene real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so there's a scene in this movie, for the 6 of you that haven't seen this film before.
I think it's probably more than that. I don't know that this movie necessarily made a whole lot of bank.
I think the first one made enough bank. I think the second one was the one that disappointed.
Maybe it's more that nobody's going to remember it. So yeah, anyway, tell people about the train scene.
Right, so for those of you that don't remember, or haven't seen it, there's a scene where Peter is on the subway heading home after he got bit by the spider at Oscorp. And it's basically just him testing out his powers and kind of, well, not testing out, but like realizing that something's up. Mm-hmm. Like he rips someone's shirt off completely.
Yeah.
Which that counts as sexual assault, I think.
Yep.
Cool. It's supposed to be funny.
This was what, 2012?
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, and then, he beats the shit out of a bunch of guys. He scares everyone on the train that's actually awake at that point. Mm-hmm. And it's edited in such a way that I'm not epileptic. And I thought I was going to have a fucking seizure.
Yeah. It's a lot of very quick cuts. Like, I think a lot of the action in these movies are pretty bad. Is pretty bad.
Yeah, they're all really bad.
We can actually talk about that, but I just want to finish my point on Andrew Garfield.
Sure.
Assuming I had one. But as for your point about Spider-Man kind of being a dick, I guess that doesn't bother me that much.
No, and I mean, that's fine. I think what bothers me is that, again, in theory, I can see it working on a thematic level.
Yeah.
Of, again, like someone just not kind of knowing what to do or say appropriately in those moments.
But, like,
because he's just starting out. But in practice, it just feels really... It just seems really stupid, like nothing really landed, his jokes aren't that funny.
No, his jokes are not actually that funny. I was surprised to remember that. Like, yeah, he's not actually that funny.
Like, I'm jumping way too far ahead, but there's this scene in the beginning of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, mm-hmm. where he goes, "Hey, what's up? I'm Spider-Man, but you can call me Webhead, you can call me Amazing, but you can't call me late to dinner. Get it?" And he literally says, "Get it?" at the end of the joke.
Wow.
I just wanted to fucking die.
Yeah. I don't even see him being like so much of a like him being a dickhead is like also contrasted with him like legitimately being a hero, like his little interaction with that kid he rescues on the bridge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of corny personally.
That actually,
but I do like it in general.
You want to talk about corny? Why don't we talk about that fucking New York solidarity scene with the cranes? My favorite part of that scene is when there's like this overhead shot and the spotlight comes down on Spider-Man and then it goes all the way to where his destination is to be like, here's point A and here's point B.
It's like a waypoint in a video game.
It was so fucking stupid!
See, it's... Back to the fucking Total Dissonance, like, it has shit like this, and it's still bars like, this is the Dark Knight of Spider-Man.
Like, say what you will about the fucking New York solidarity scene, the first one, where it's just a bunch of idiots throwing shit at the Goblin, going, "You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us!"
Yeah.
At least that was kind of charming.
Yeah.
This is just bad, because it's just a bunch of cranes just coming up going, "You got this, Spider-Man!"
You think it's like that scene in Two Towers where, like, Gandalf is like, the Eagles have arrived, or whoever the fuck says it. It's like,
the cranes! The cranes have arrived! No, and what the best part was, it was the father of that kid that he saved in that corny-ass scene, making it even going, "Man, that guy saved my son, so I'm gonna go get me some fucking cranes.
I'm gonna get me the New York Crane Union."
The Crane Union of New York. No, the Crane Union of Queens specifically.
Cock.
Oh my god, yeah, it is cock, isn't it?
Shut up, phone.
Oh my fucking god, like, It's just, it scenes like that, yeah, like you said, there's like this extreme tonal dissonance that I haven't seen since the Book of Henry.
We're not talking about the Book of Henry right now.
But, actually, no, Book of Henry's worse. Never mind.
To actually bring some positives into this discussion, because, like, I don't hate this movie.
No, neither do I.
I just kind of think it's boring. I think... Yeah, well, whatever. I think where it does kind of shine is, like, interactions with other people.
When they're natural.
Yeah, they're natural.
When they don't feel forced, because there are... It's more in the second one than the first one. Like, I think...
It's more of a problem in the second one. But...
It's more of a problem in the second one, but in the first one, a lot of the interactions between, like, him and Aunt May and Uncle Ben, or him and Gwen, they actually feel kind of natural, and I think that comes from Mark Webb's background of directing, like, 500 Days of Summer, where he's really good at getting those really, like, cool human interaction moments.
Yeah. That also kind of gave me, in a positive way, kind of a more young adult novel vibe. Where it's like the dialogue is like very quirky and adorable, but I think it is pulled off relatively well usually.
Yeah, like I think, like especially the scenes between like him and Uncle Ben. Like I think Martin Sheen's a great.
He's really good.
Great fucking Uncle Ben.
I forgot how good he is. There's a scene in the second movie, and where it shows young Uncle Ben, and it's just young Martin Sheen, so it looks a shitload like Charlie Sheen. Yes, young Uncle Ben, the cokehead who kept screaming about having tiger blood.
And winning. Yeah. And then went on to star in a movie about being in the elevator of one of the Twin Towers during September 11th.
That's the untold story of Spider-Man.
Uncle Ben was actually in the Twin Towers during September 11th.
Oh, fuck! That didn't click until now.
Have you seen the trailer for that movie?
Yes, I have.
Okay, this is fucking hysterical. Oh god, there's this great line at the end of the trailer. It's fucking Charlie Sheen saying, it's not the fall that kills guys. And he says it in like the most serious fucking voice. That whole thing looks like such an embarrassment and a national disgrace. I'm surprised nobody shot the fucking negative of it into the fucking sun via catapult.
I also really like Sally Field as Aunt May.
I really love her too. We love her. We really love her.
Perfect. But yeah, it's continuing the trend of Aunt May gradually getting younger as these movies go along.
Yeah. But like, Sally Field is, like, the appropriate age, and, like, Marissa Tomei, she's not... Like,
it's just a new spin on it, and I don't mind it, but, like, we also don't really get enough of her and Peter for me to really get attached to her.
Are we talking about Sally Field or Marissa Tomei?
Marissa Tomei.
Okay, because I was going to say, I think she's completely fine in it. I think the interactions between the two were great.
Yeah.
And also, we gotta keep in mind, guys, no, she's not, that much younger.
Yeah. But Sally Field actually does get, like, a whole bunch of time in these movies.
She does, and she's pretty good in it.
She's really good. Yeah,
she's not as good as she is in Mrs. Doubtfire, but...
Maybe not. But, do you kind of get more of her being, like, a put-upon working woman than you got in the Raimi trilogy, obviously, because Aunt May in those movies was fucking ancient?
I think you got some aspects of that in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, is it the first one or the second one where she talks about how she's having to waitress and work as a nurse? Or, like, is starting to work as a nurse?
Oh, that would be the
first
one.
I think that's the first one.
They definitely bring it up in the second one.
Okay, well, they probably bring it up in the second one. In isolation, because I'm pretty checked out of the movie at this point. Like, I like what she says, Peter Parker, you are plenty good enough. It's like, oh man, she's a great mom. It's like, that's a nice little line. She's great. Put the fucking Pikachu away.
Okay, let's talk about Emma Stone.
Alright. Emma Stone's good.
Yeah.
Emma Stone is
okay.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, like, we don't have a lot of problems with Emma Stone. Because she's a good actress.
Who knew?
Who would have thought, right?
Who'd have thought? I mean, she won a fucking Oscar for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not La La Land.
No, not that.
Like, who the fuck talks about that anymore?
No, yeah, nobody, exactly. Meanwhile, seminal classic Amazing Spider-Man 2 is still talked about in film classes today. But
I don't think either of them are talked about in film classes.
Well, I mean, La La Land is much newer, too. Like, I don't think either of them are in the right time for him to be talked about in film classes, but... Anyway, yeah, Emma Stone is really good. Emma Stone is really good in this. Like, this was, I think, kind of the beginning of the Gwen Stacy renaissance, I want to say. Or maybe it was a little later, because I think in the comics, it kind of started with Spider-Man Blue, which was kind of like supposed to be like a retrospective on Spider-Man's relationship with Gwen.
Okay.
And before that, like, Gwen was a pretty, like, one-note character.
Yeah.
She was, the most important thing about her is that she died. And Blue kind of went into her relationship with Peter.
Okay.
And then you had her appearing in this movie, and because Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone had such good chemistry in these movies, that kind of elevated her presence to the point where eventually Spider-Gwen became a thing. Now Gwen Stacy, mostly as Spider-Gwen, is an established character in...
What's cool?
In Marvel. But...
Hey, Avia Rod did one good thing. One!
I don't know, she gets a lot of scenes with Andrew Garfield where, like I said before, like, sometimes the editing lets them down and it just kind of lasts a little too long, but they're, like, mostly charming little scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I wish your dad wasn't played by Dennis fucking Leary.
Actually, I think he's one of the highlights of the movie.
He sucks.
Oh,
but we do not have to talk too much about Dennis Leary because this movie doesn't spend much time talking about him anyway. So what the fuck ever. But apparently that means he's warrants like a extended cameo in the next one, which makes me want to fucking die.
You know what?
What?
I really want to talk about how much I love his overextended cameo in the second movie.
Where he just kind of stares blankly
Disapproving
at
Dennis Leary is the funniest Dennis Leary.
Mm-hmm. Aside from Dennis Leary, who we all remember from his highlight performance as Diego in the Ice Age movies.
And also singing that classic song, Asshole.
This movie does kind of strand some A-list actors within it. Irfan Khan is totally wasted.
Yeah.
As kind of a one-note dickhead character who appears for like 2 scenes. The villain is, you're going to have to remind me how to pronounce his name.
Rhys
right?
Ifans.
Rhys Ifans. Who is, by all accounts, a great actor.
He is wonderful. I mean, every time I watch him in a movie, I always think about his performance in Pirate Radio.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wonderful in that.
Yeah.
But here he's just, like, completely fucking wasted, and it's so so upsetting to watch.
He plays Dr. Kirk Connors.
Yeah.
Who originally played him in the Raimi trilogy? Dylan Baker.
Who was also in Trick or Treat as the serial killer principal, and he also played a pedophile in the movie Happiness.
Fun times. I think, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, his like, plot progression in this movie is kind of what they were planning for Spider-Man 4 or 5 or whatever the fuck.
I would not be shocked if that was the case.
And, like, Rhys Ifans is fine himself, but his character does get some development at the beginning.
His character is very underwritten, I'd say, overall.
He's underwritten in general, but, like, you get the beginnings of something in the beginning, but after he becomes the Lizard...
It just falls apart.
Yeah, it just falls apart. It's just goofy as fuck. Like, he wants to turn everybody in New York into a fucking gecko. That's... That's his plan, and this dark, gritty reimagining of Spider-Man is turning everybody into...
Everyone's gonna be the Geico Gecko now, bitch! 15 minutes under this serum can save you 15% or more on your car insurance!
And this is especially weird, because, like, Lizard is... I mean, yes, he's kind of goofy in the comics, but, like, he can be pretty... His stories can be pretty fucking dark.
That's why I think Dylan Baker would have been the perfect casting, and I brought this up extensively in the last episode, but I'll do it again. He's really good at playing, like, again, like, he played a pedophile in the movie Happiness. He played a serial killer who kills kids in Trick or Treat.
Mm-hmm.
I brought up a scene in Trick or Treat in the original Spider-Man episode, so I will bring up a scene from Happiness in this one.
Mm-hmm.
There's this amazing fucking sequence. It's really funny. It's a dream scene.
Mm-hmm.
Where he goes into this park and he's just got this giant fucking rifle with him. And he's just shooting up everybody in the park.
Yeah.
And because he has just this menacing fucking cold, like, distant look on his fucking face, like, there's this actual, like, legitimate terror that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, again, like that, and again, I brought up the scene in Trick or Treat where he poisons this kid with candy. And he does it in the most menacing and charming, oddly, way possible. Where, like, he's talking about the traditions of Halloween, and he just looks at the kid after it, and he goes, "Oh, there's one more I forgot. Always check your candy." And he just starts puking everywhere. Like, have you seen Trick or Treat?
No, I haven't.
You should. It's so good.
It sounds good.
You will probably be on my side with Dylan Baker as soon as you're done watching that.
Okay.
But basically, because he is such a menacing... He can be such a menacing force as an actor when he's performing in, roles like that. I'm really disappointed, disheartened, and just really sad that they didn't do anything with him
Yeah.
as Kirk Connors, and I think they could have done a lot with him as the Lizard.
Yeah.
And I think he would have been perfect as the Lizard. I think that would have been the thing that, like, broke him into the mainstream, but no!
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
Which isn't to say that Rhys Ifans couldn't have been a really fucking good
Oh
Lizard.
no, Rhys Ifans could have been good too.
But
the problem is that they do nothing with him.
yeah, and in the comics, his character is so much more tragic because he has a family too.
Yeah.
And like him being the Lizard keeps driving him away from them until in a more recent one, and I don't know how well received this comic is because I read it a long time ago and I haven't had time to re-examine it, but he actually like he gives in to the bestial nature of the Lizard because he keeps getting more and more unhinged, and he actually kills his own son.
Jesus.
Was a really fucking harrowing moment.
Wow, that would really fit the Dylan Baker mold one day.
Yeah. It was actually in a series called The Gauntlet, which came out after One More Day. Like, it was when like, post One More Day, it was really hitting its stride, I found. I'm not saying that Lizard being goofy is a bad thing. It's just, he's underwritten. He's underwritten. It doesn't fit the tone of the movie that they were going for.
Exactly.
He looks like shit. He looks like absolute shit.
What's he missing again?
A fucking snout!
Hashtag give the Lizard a snout.
It's fucking atrocious to look at. Like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Oh my god.
Anyway, you know why the Lizard was the villain in this?
Because Sony wanted him to
because he's Avi Arad's favorite Spider-Man villain. We'll talk about that later. But
anyway, Stefan, what else you got?
Just some quick stuff. I think it was really as great as Uncle Ben is in this movie. Like, I think it was really fucking stupid how they changed it so that like instead of like him being shot randomly by a mugler and just a mugger instead of a senseless killing, he mugler.
He got shot by a Harry Potter character.
Yeah. He like actively leaps for the guy's gun. I thought that was pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I noticed that Gwen Stacy has a Yankees pennant in her room, and going with my ongoing theme of disputing the lore of comic book characters' favorite baseball teams, I think this is appropriate because her dad's a pig. This movie gets a lot of shit for like having the one scenes that like focus way too long on the fact that Peter is using Bing as a Sony search engine. Yeah. Sorry?
And a Sony
Vaio, but like I've seen the Bing thing referenced more often, and that's pretty funny. Did I actually have a point about that, or did I just mention it? Oh, but I thought it was even funnier that he started looking up like symptoms of spider bites when he started like clinging to walls and beating the shit out of people. Yeah, because we all know that's what a Black Widow bite does. Anyway, those are our thoughts of on Amazing Spider-Man. It's exceptionally mediocre, and I've already forgotten most of it.
Would you recommend it?
Probably not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm in the middle of the road or no camp.
I feel like I can't really justify middle of the road just because like there's no real reason for anybody to watch it.
Yeah, that's fair.
As far as like Spider-Man origin stories go, like as much as I have a problem with the first Raimi, I have problems with the first Raimi movie. Like it's still infinitely superior to this one. And if you want a young take on Peter Parker, you've got fucking Homecoming, and if you want a darker take on Spider-Man, you have stuff like Grim Hunter, Back in Black, or The Gauntlet, or something like that.
Okay, then yeah, I'm a thumbs down too.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna go middle of the road, but like I can't really just bring it up to that.
No, it's like a light thumbs down.
Yeah, I would say that.
Low middle of the road.
Yeah.
For me. I guess like if you really, really, really want to watch it for whatever reason, it's not.
It's
like,
not gonna offend.
It's
not gonna offend your sensibilities or anything.
No,
or at least it shouldn't.
Speaking of offending your sensibilities, let's talk about the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Woo! Fuck.
All right, Stefan, it's your turn.
So, according to Joe Newmeyer of the New York Daily News, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is epic, gripping, and spectacularly entertaining. There are a lot of ellipses in that quote, so who knows about that. But anyway, Amazing Spider-Man 2, also directed by Mark Webb, is the continuation to Amazing Spider-Man. This one also stars Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone and Sally Field, but it brings in new villains to the cast, such as Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, and Harry Osborn, played by Dane DeHaan, and Paul Giamatti, who's playing, I guess, the Rhino. Jesus. And
So what'd you think of the movie?
wow,
I think we're done with the synopsis. What'd you think of the movie?
It's fucking bad.
Jesus Christ.
It's really fucking bad. Like, I've heard people say it's, like, the worst Spider-Man movie, and I still think Spider-Man 3 is worse. But this is a chore to get through. It feels long, too. It's, like, almost as long as Spider-Man 3, I think.
I feel like this and Spider-Man 3 are tied for worst, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't really made a decision yet based on this rewatch.
All that matters is that this movie is trash.
All that matters is, I will say this, though, this felt shorter to me than Spider-Man 3.
I think it felt shorter to me,
Jesus.
but I think I looked at the runtime and they aren't that different.
No, they're off by, like, fucking 3 minutes.
Yeah. So I guess credit to this movie that it feels much breezier than Spider-Man 3.
And it's the longer one of the two.
And to be fair, I do like some things about this movie.
Yeah, I like the suit except for the eyes, because I think the eyes are too big.
The eyes are a little big, and I
A little creepy, honestly.
You think so?
It looks a little creepy to me. I mean, like the eyes do. Like, everything else looks really good about it.
I think this is my favorite live-action Spider-Man suit, honestly.
That is completely fair.
I think the new ones, like, they look great, but I think this one looks a little less cartoony. I think the only thing that I would change about this, like, knowing with the technology we have now, is to make the eyes emote.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
I think the color palette for this movie is much improved. It's not just grimy, gray-green shit.
Yeah.
It's much more vibrant and colorful. I like that both these movies actually focus more on the science angle of Peter.
Yeah.
The scientist
Oh,
angle,
yeah,
like,
that is something I did actually really appreciate, is that, like, he's designing his web shooters, he's doing a bunch of science stuff, he's showing off his knowledge.
I also like the scene where, this little fragment of the scene, I should say, Peter, it, like, shows the angles that Peter's thinking from, of, like, having to stop people from getting electrocuted, but also having to stop, like...
That was a really cool sequence.
I like that Peter's first strategy when fighting Electro was first to try to talk him down.
Yeah. I think the way he acted in that scene was really good.
Yeah, I think Andrew Garfield in general is great as Spider-Man in this movie. Like,
yeah.
even if like a lot of his lines don't really give him a lot to work with.
I was gonna say, yeah, like, I think he's a great Spider-Man in this movie. I'd say better than Tobey Maguire by far.
Oh yeah.
But he's still just kind of a mediocre Peter Parker.
I think he's a fine Peter Parker. Like, I don't think much of Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker anyway, though, so take that with a grain of salt. I really like this. I actually also really like the scene where, like, he saves the kid from those bullies and, like, helps him repair his wind funnel or whatever the fuck.
Too bad that leads to the stupidest scene in the movie at the end.
But it does! Oh, that sucks ass!
That actually kind of ruins it for me.
Well, in isolation, it's a really nice scene.
In isolation, it's a wonderful scene.
I don't know if you could think of any other positives. I guess Peter and Gwen still have nice interactions, even if the rest of their relationship fizzles out.
I think the interactions are worse this time.
Yeah. I think
they feel more forced and awkward.
Okay, I'll retake that. They have, like, they have the beginnings of good chemistry, but they don't actually have any
good
like
dialogue
to work with.
They have a terrible script.
As much problems as I have with the Raimi trilogy and its depiction of relationships, and I still do, and I actually probably think that it's worse than Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. This is really fucking, like,
do you want to know,
forced and dragged out.
You know, two of the screenwriters on this are Alex Kurtzman and Robert Orsi.
I was gonna comment on that, and I mean, I don't expect anybody listening to this to have an intimate knowledge of screenwriters because they don't.
Why don't you tell us what else they've done?
I mean, Roberto Orsi, I think, they've both worked on. Did they both work on the Transformers movies?
I think they've worked on a couple of the Transformers movies. Alex Kurtzman directed the new Mummy movie with Tom Cruise that was supposed to start off the Dark Universe. Rest in peace.
I know they both worked on Into Darkness, right?
Star Trek they both worked on Into Darkness. I think they worked on the first one as well.
They did work on the first one. I think Roberto Orsi was still working on the third one, but in a producer role.
Oh, okay.
And that makes sense because that's by far the best of those movies, anyway. Yeah.
Jesus, what a bad movie.
Yeah, I guess. Jesus. I guess we're done with positives. This movie blows.
This movie fucking blows. Let's talk about how awful Jamie Foxx is in this movie.
Holy shit, he's bad.
Like, I love Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is great.
Too bad he's terrible in this movie. He's better on Beat Shazam than he is in this.
What the fuck is Beat Shazam?
It's a new, like, reality game show thing.
Oh shit, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I didn't know it was a thing, and then I watched, like, 3 episodes of it, and I'm like, this is embarrassing for Jamie Foxx, because he's so much better than this.
Yeah.
But whatever.
His motive in this fucking movie is so galaxy brain. It's fucking incredible. Like, yeah, Spider-Man said hi to me, and now, like, he's not saying hi to me anymore, and he forgot my existence, because why the fuck would he remember me? So I'm going to kill everybody in New York. He looks like shit, too. Like, all the villains in the Amazing movies look like shit. But Jamie Foxx is kind of a special case, because
Jamie Foxx looks like second-rate Dr. Manhattan in this.
He does. Except we don't see his which is unfortunate. To be fair, that does kind of look like his appearance in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, where he does kind of appear as like a blue being of electricity. To be fair again, though, I think he looks like shit when he's like that. I much prefer the green and yellow costume. I'm sure you could do a modernized take on that doesn't look corny as fuck.
Yeah, you probably could. Also, I hate the fucking costume he's wearing, because it's just a fucking hoodie.
It's a hoodie, and then later he wears like a generic black jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Like, that looks like one of the 2001 X-Men costumes.
But God, like, going back to the Dr. Manhattan thing, do you remember that scene where he reemerges after being, I guess, chained up or whatever?
Yeah.
And, like, it really does remind me of the scene where Dr. Manhattan first emerges in his origin sequence in Watchmen.
Yeah.
It's, like, in both the comic and the movie.
Yeah,
It's so fucking silly.
Yeah, when I was watching, I was like, this looks really familiar to me, and then you texted me saying, like, oh yeah, did you catch the Dr. Manhattan reference? Like, oh yeah, fuck. Yeah, he looks fucking awful. I think all the villains are awful. Let's get right into the... They do the 3 villain thing again.
Let's just jump into it.
They do the 3 fucking villain thing again. And unlike Spider-Man 3, where you could argue that Sandman was pretty good, none of them are good.
No. What are you talking about? The Rhino is top tier.
Jesus Christ,
Chef's
the Rhino.
Kiss. Mwah.
What the fuck?
Mwah.
Poor
Mwah.
Paul Giamatti. Imagine being Paul Giamatti, being this fucking great actor, and being signed on to play, like, this Russian blowhard who appears for, like, 30 seconds.
Was it Russian or was it Polish?
Who gives a shit?
I don't know what he was doing.
Definitely Russian. Sistovich is a Russian name.
Yeah, but I don't know what accent he was doing.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like fucking Boris and Natasha. It was. I don't think it was meant to be the height of accuracy of a Slavic accent. Oh, and the Rhino's like one of my favorite Spider-Man villains too, just because he's like almost endearingly dumb. Fucking choose the scenery.
Fucking scenes.
He just chews the fucking scenery in this, and like and it's not like chewing the scenery in like an entertaining way.
I thought it was entertaining.
I thought it was just kind of awkward because in the second one, especially, he's like in this obviously CGI awful looking robot Rhino getup, and he's just screaming into the void, and nobody's really interacting with him.
I thought it was entertaining.
He's got like the barbed wire tattoo going around his bald ass head. And he wears a fucking tracksuit.
Jesus Christ!
And he has a fucking hammer and sickle tattoo, as all Russians do, I guess. Because it's Hollywood law that all Russians are either are some combination of part of the mafia, always wearing tracksuits, or have some connection, or have some tattoo that alludes to the Soviet Union, I guess.
He's in 2 fucking scenes, at the very beginning and the very end, when they're very sloppily setting up the Sinister Six.
Yeah, and funnily enough, he's probably the best villain in this movie.
By far! Harry Osborn's motivation is sloppy at best and completely misguided at worst.
It's totally rushed, too.
Oh yeah, completely rushed. Like, I love how he's not completely pissed off at... Like, what would have been interesting would have been to see him, like, as soon as he gets forced out of Oscorp, to, like, go all Goblin then and go after them and Spider-Man stop him then.
Yeah.
But no, we gotta be like, he didn't give me his blood!
Yeah.
Ah!
Dane DeHaan, like, from what I've seen him in, he's a pretty good actor.
He is amazing in Chronicle.
He's awesome in Chronicle. He just does not have it for this.
He sucks in this. And again, I think a lot of it is, one, he's underwritten. I also could probably blame it on bad direction.
I would probably go those directions before I don't really blame it. Like
I don't blame.
I don't
him.
usually blame actors if you've noticed a pattern.
I will blame. Yeah, no, I'm gonna blame the script. I'm gonna blame the director because I don't know what the fuck he was told to do here, but
I do like the one scene after Spider-Man tells him, "No, I'm not gonna give you my fucking blood," where he leaves and he starts trashing his room, and there's this very obvious ADR line. It's like, "You're a fraud, Spider-Man," and it's so obviously ADR because he's throwing a table at the same time.
This movie doesn't even get the Stan Lee cameo right like the first one does.
No! The first one had a great Stan Lee cameo.
The first one Stan Lee cameo is hilarious, and this one he's just there.
Yeah. I know that guy. And that's it!
It's the cameo.
We don't even know if he's looking at Peter. He's got dementia at this point.
He was probably looking at Flash Thompson hey, I know that guy. He's the guy that serves me my pills at the home.
Also, Goblin looks like shit.
He looks like he's fucking tweaking on meth.
He looks the
whole fucking time.
He looks like a meth head in a jumpsuit. I'm not a fan of the first Goblin costume. I don't know much people who are.
It's silly.
And
it works, whatever.
And this one is more faithful to the comics, I guess. But it looks so fucking bad.
It looks so bad. He looks like he's tweaking on something.
This is why the best appearance of the Goblin has just been the Spider-Verse one, where he looks very little like anything from the comics. He doesn't even have a glider. He's just this big Goblin Dragon hybrid, which is fucking awesome. And I kind of wish they went that route instead of what we've been getting.
All the villains are so bad.
They're so bad. And they all look like shit. I think it all goes back to the fact that this movie was not meant to stand on its own, really.
No, it was meant to set up sequels. It was meant to set up Sinister Six. It was meant to set up its own cinematic universe.
Yeah. And it all fell flat. And nothing about this made me interested in seeing, Amazing Spider-Man 3 or Sinister Six or the Black Cat movie. I guess they were planning on doing at one point because Felicity Jones is barely in this fucking movie.
Oh yeah, right. She's in this movie too.
Yeah. So I guess this movie kind of concludes the parent subplot that was built up in the first one.
And then it can be summed up with 2 words. They die.
They died. Awesome. We knew that.
Actually, okay, you know what's really fucked up?
What?
I'm not even sure if they fucking died. Okay, so I have the Blu-ray in my hands right now. Mm-hmm. And there's a deleted scene on here called Peter Meets His Father, which I have not watched.
Really?
But if anyone's seen it, is the father supposed to still be alive in this movie, or what the fuck happened?
Because God knows we're not going to watch it.
Because God knows we're not going to watch it, and God knows I don't think I really care enough to put it on. But, oh Jesus Christ.
It feels like they filmed the movie chronologically, which I know they don't do, but humor me for a second.
Sure.
And they filmed, the way too fucking long, 5-minute plane sequence at the beginning that feels a lot like a Dark Knight Rises ripoff.
Yes.
And then, midway through filming the movie, they think, oh shit, we forgot to wrap that up. So, have Peter find subway tokens. They go to a train. It says, his dad says he's dead. Okay, we're good. Take up 15 minutes to do this.
I don't fucking know. And that reminds me, I don't think this movie has a fucking vision.
No! Its only vision is to sell future movies.
Basically, you want to know how I know this? So, I watched the first 7 minutes of a 103-minute making-of documentary. On the Blu-ray for Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's feature length. It's 103 minutes long.
That's fuck.
It is embarrassing. And so, in the 7 minutes I watched, they're pulling their answers out of their ass about why this movie's good.
Yeah, but, like you would expect them to.
But the one moment I took note of and never wrote down because it's stuck in my head now, and I screamed at my television at this point, was when I think it was Mark Webb said we really wanted Gwen's death to have an impact in the movie. So the opening shot of the movie is of a clock. Mm-hmm. And she dies in a clock tower. And this is supposed to symbolize that time is fleeting and that we should enjoy those final moments with the ones that we love. None of this, and boy do I mean none of this, is communicated in any other facet of this fucking movie. This movie is like a Terrence Malick film where they just shot a bunch of shit and then they said, we'll just figure it out in post. What the fuck are you talking about? You just pulled that symbolism line out of your fucking taint and you went, oh yeah, I know. I fucking know that this is all deep meaning art shit. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm so sorry, headphone users,
okay.
but it's such bullshit. It's such bullshit.
You can say it doesn't fucking mean anything.
It's fucking meaningless. Like, the Gwen Stacy fucking grad speech had more fucking deep meaning to it than a couple shots of a clock.
And that was
what the fuck is this shit?
And that was basically just like the hang in there poster.
Like, what the fuck? Once again, I'm so sorry to the headphone users who are probably deaf now.
We apologize to me in the future. Go fuck yourself, by the way.
That is the only time I've ever gone off on this show.
I think it's the most you've, like, screamed and, like, because I've had a few freak out moments. But I think that's if I don't know if it's your only one, but that's your biggest, definitely. Which I wasn't really expecting, but it was very welcome. Speaking of Gwen Stacy's death, and Gwen Stacy does die in this movie because I guess they were going for the
let's just be faithful to the comics thing.
Yeah, shit.
There seems to be no real emotional reason to kill her off in this movie at all.
Yeah. Comic backstory, real fucking quick. The night Gwen Stacy died was an editorial mandate that said, like, look, you can't have Mary Jane and Gwen running around at the same time. Pick one and find a way to get rid of the other. Like, okay, well, Mary Jane's an interesting character and Gwen is fucking boring. So Stan Lee was like, yeah, let's kill her off. And it did. To be fair, the night Gwen Stacy died is like one of the better Spider-Man comics. Mm-hmm. And it is actually one of the darker ones too.
Yeah, of course. I mean, someone dies.
Yeah, and it does form the backbone for Peter's antagonism with the Green Lantern, and even if it is like a very unfortunate case of fridging women.
Yeah.
And they did kind of build on that more in Spider-Man Blue by Jeff Loeb, which is a really fucking good comic. Gwen Stacy dying was her only character trait for many years. Mm-hmm. And in the modern era, when she does have more of a defined character, it just kind of feels like cheap drama that you throw in because, well, Gwen Stacy died in the comics, so that's how it's got to be. To give an example, like if they had done that in Spider-Verse. With Spider-Gwen, that would have felt really fucking bad. Like her or not, like, Gwen Stacy in these movies does have a character.
Yeah.
I guess they kind of fucking ruined Peter and Gwen's relationship in this movie. Like, or whatever there was of it. Because all the dynamics between them are so fucking forced.
Yeah.
And awkward and drawn out. By the midpoint, like, I'm just completely checked out of their relationship, so that when they do kill her off, it's like, well, that's pretty fucking cheap. I know you only did it because that's what they did in the comics. It didn't add any emotional weight to it.
Yeah.
So, what the fuck am I supposed to feel about it? Especially because, like, the first little bit of this movie, their relationship is just restating the point at the end of the last movie until they inevitably get back together. It's the won't they bullshit again. And you know how much I fucking hate that shit because I talked about it for, like, 3 hours in the Raimi episode. But that's, like, the first half of this fucking movie. And it's still so fucking annoying.
But it does include 100% more disapproving Dennis Leary ghost dad.
Oh, God.
We talked about it already.
Fucking funny.
That's
the funniest thing Dennis Leary's ever done. He wasn't trying to be funny. But yeah, their relationship is basically, hey, you like that annoying shit we threw in the mix at the end of the last movie? How about a whole fucking movie of that?
Yeah.
There's a point in this movie where I think a news anchor, like, references Spider-Man as being the web crawler. What the fuck is wrong with you? He's the web head or he's the wall crawler. He's not both.
But you can't call him late for dinner.
Shut the fuck up! Yeah, I think a lot of our problems with this movie kind of boil down to the fact that it's a movie designed... Like the MCU movies, it's a movie designed to sell other movies. Unlike the MCU movies, this movie is fucking terrible. And, yeah, it's a movie driven entirely by marketing. Because it had to set up not only Amazing Spider-Man 3, but the Sinister Six, the Black Cat movie, which is why you had Felicity Jones shoehorned in there for no reason.
Yeah. Basically, a whole cinematic universe was going to be set up off the heels of this movie.
Which, to an extent, is still going on. It's just Spider-Man is completely not in it anymore.
Yeah.
Because Venom came out, and I guess Morbius is coming out relatively soon, which...
Sure!
Fucking whatever.
Who gives a shit? But should we talk about who's responsible for this?
Yes, because okay. So a common thread in Spider-Man in Spider-Man movies is the prevalence of one Avi Arad.
Our friend and hero.
Our friend, hero, lover. Avi Arad is an Israeli-American businessman who, along with Ike Perlmutter, was a kind of, I forget if he was CEO or owner of Toy Biz, which was like a toy company.
Yeah.
Which ended up buying Marvel because Marvel was going bankrupt in the 90s, and I think they originally started with a minority share, but eventually they just took over the whole company. Mm-hmm. So Perlmutter was on top, and Arad had a very powerful position within Marvel. I forget what his exact position was. Anyway, under his influence, like, Marvel actually started doing a little better. Yeah. Because they started licensing their products. Basically to anything that wasn't a comic book. So movie rights were sold off. The animated series were commissioned. So that's why you had stuff like the Spider-Man animated series and the X-Men animated series, some of which Avi Arad is actually accredited with being an executive producer. Okay. A lot of the Marvel movies that came out afterward, like Blade and I think X-Men 2, definitely Daredevil, were had Avi Arad as in either a producer or executive producer role. Yeah. Every Spider-Man movie, actually, even the MCU ones, has Avi Arad as either a producer or an executive producer.
Same thing with Spider-Verse?
Same thing with Spider-Verse. He's a main producer in that, and which is why he was on the stage at the Oscars when it won Best Animated Feature.
He should not even be near an Oscar stage, I swear to God.
It was very surreal seeing that. But, so, a common thread in Spider-Man movies that go very, very wrong, and by that I mean Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2, Avi Arad is always at the center of that. Producers in general are at the center of that, but Avi Arad is at the center of that. Mm-hmm. Because, well, I'll just list through some stuff that he's been associated with. He actually, his one good thing that I found was that originally they wanted to make a love triangle between Peter, MJ, and Doc Ock. So thank God he squashed that. But he's the one, as is well known, and as we mentioned, he insisted on having Venom in Spider-Man 3.
So was it going to be Peter was in love with both MJ and Doc Ock?
Or? I think...
Because that'd be fucking great. That I would have been down for.
I think it was a younger Doc Ock who was in love with Mary Jane. So, yeah, they went the boring hetero route. He insisted on putting Venom in Spider-Man 3 because Venom would sell more toys. Yeah. Because Avi Arad is foremost a businessman. And a lot of his creative differences with Sam Raimi kind of led to the collapse of that franchise. And in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, he pushed Lizard as the villain because Lizard is his favorite Spider-Man villain. Also, Lizard would sell toys. He's kind of been hinted by Andrew Garfield, or at least him as a member of the producers, as being kind of the reason that movie sucked. Like, Garfield said in an interview that he genuinely loved the original script from Orsi and Kurtzman, and take that with whatever grain of salt you will. I got to work in deep scenes that you don't usually see in comic book movies, and I got to explore this orphan boy, a lot of which was taken out and which we'd explored more, to make way for Avi Arad wanting to sell movies and toys. That last part was me adding context. Not that wasn't what Andrew Garfield said, because I presume he still wants to work in Hollywood. Anyway, I don't know if you want to chime in, but I think Avi Arad is the picture of a problem that's very endemic in Hollywood. Like, he's a almost cartoonish representation of what Hollywood is at this point.
Yeah. Basically.
Where the movie is a medium with which to sell more and more products.
Yeah, basically, like, Avi Arad he is literally the commerce in art. Yeah. He's that guy who's like, I just want money.
His products are created not with the intention of being art, but with the intention of being vehicles with which to sell toys, with which to sell future movies, with which to sell costumes, Halloween costumes, with which to, I guess, sell comics. That kind of came secondary. Which makes it all the more, like, kind of mind-boggling that I don't know how much he was involved with Spider-Verse.
Okay.
But it kind of makes it mind-boggling that, like, that movie was that good with him involved in as a producer role.
Yeah.
Because he tends to want to shoehorn in whatever will end up moving the most product.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the point we're driving at here is that Avi Arad sucks ass.
Yeah, he kind of does. I don't think there's a whole lot we can really say about him besides he sucks ass, and he's the big reason why a lot of the fatal flaws with this franchise and the Sam Raimi franchise, exist.
Yeah.
And why those franchises fell apart. I'd love to ask you where you see the future of this franchise, but we all know it went fucking nowhere!
Technically, the franchise is kind of still going on because of all the spin-off movies that they were planned that are just, like, now coming to fruition. So, like, the Venom movies, Morbius is coming out. I think the Silver Sable one got canned.
Yeah. Maybe they'll do a Sinister Six one eventually, but I don't fucking know.
Probably not. Maybe Black Cat. I think they were gonna do an Aunt May solo movie at one
Jesus
point,
Christ!
Which, I mean, it seems like more than a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah,
for material. But basically, this franchise is dead in the water, and we're all the better for it because we got two way better kind of Spider-Man reimaginings out of it.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so would you recommend The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
No, fuck no.
Thank God.
It's an awful movie.
I would not either. That's thumbs down for both of us.
There's very little... if you liked the first Amazing Spider-Man, and there are people who like it, like, there's nothing in this continuation that would add to your enjoyment of the first one.
No.
If you like the character of Spider-Man,
this will do nothing for you.
This will do nothing for you. I guess you can just look at the costume, but you can do that in, like, promotional art or something.
Yeah.
There's nothing in this movie that is enjoyable. I hate it, and I know you are not fond of it either.
No, I don't fucking like it either.
So, I guess we're done.
Finally, we're done with Spider-Man. We're done with comic book movies. We're done with comic books. So, Stefan, you want to talk about Comic-Con?
No, actually.
Well, we're going to.
What?
So we're recording this on Sunday the 21st, so I think the last day of Comic-Con, or one of the last days of Comic-Con?
If it's not the last day, it's
second last for
it's
sure.
the day after the last day.
Yeah.
It's definitely last or the day after the last one.
Yeah. You mean day before the last one?
What the fuck ever. Just keep talking.
So, we watched a few trailers from Comic-Con that dropped, and we're just going to quickly talk about them.
Yeah.
First,
You're welcome for this scintillating bonus content.
And by bonus content, we mean we just want more views.
Yep.
Anyway, so I'll quickly start. So I watched the Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends title announcement.
I did not watch these because I could get less of a shit about Halloween.
It's literally 25 seconds of them going, these are the titles for the new ones, and this is when they're coming out. And I'm going to say real quick, I didn't want these at all. I really didn't want... Okay, so we'll talk about this in a later episode, I'm sure, but I really love the new Halloween movie, and I think it's a great fitting end to the franchise, and I think it's time that they just leave Michael Myers well enough alone and they just stop making these fucking movies. So I'm a little pissed they're making two more, but everyone from the original creative team is coming back, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but I didn't want these to begin with.
I guess speaking of stuff that wasn't actually a trailer, we also learned that Marvel Phase 4 is happening and has a shitload of movies and TV shows and I don't know, whatever. But
so Thor Love and Thunder looks good.
Thor Love and Thunder is a fucking great title.
And
definitely the horniest title in all the MCU.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Blade.
Blade looks cool. I think the Hawkeye TV show is the only Marvel TV show that's gotten me excited since Daredevil or Jessica Jones.
Yeah, kind of.
Because it's going to bring in Kate Bishop, and she's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the other TV shows I don't really give a shit about. As for the movies, like, they announced Black Panther 2. I was already on board for Spider-Man 3 and Guardians 3. Eternals is fucking weird, and that's a weird choice. I know nothing about the Eternals.
I'm more shocked they're doing What If.
Also, What If? That's a TV show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a strange concept. I'm not going to say I'm, like, super on board for it, but it's interesting that they're doing it, I guess.
It'll be fun.
Shang-Chi is fucking way out of left field, but okay. Black Widow is coming out super early. Doctor Strange is a thing that exists. yeah, I guess my main takeaway is I'm excited for Hawkeye, I'm excited for Thor 4, and where the fuck is my Moon Knight show, you cowards?
I don't care about the rest of it, honestly. There's really nothing else there where I'm like, I'm really excited for this, because I don't give a shit.
Give me Hawkeye, Thor, the third Spider-Man, and the third Guardians, and the other stuff I'll see at my own pace. I don't really care about it.
We also saw the trailer for It Chapter 2.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It looks good. Whoops.
I'm still going to see it because I really like the first one.
Yeah, I like the first one too.
I don't like the jump scares, but I do really like the first one.
Yeah, same.
We're going to do a sequel, Decay, on it. It's fine. Who cares? Yeah. Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I saw the trailer for that.
How was that?
Do you like Jay and Silent Bob movies? Do you like Kevin Smith that much?
I like Kevin Smith. I don't know that I give a shit about watching another Jay and Silent Bob movie.
I chuckled. I mean, Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back is probably one of my least favorite films from that time, Kevin Smith movies, but I kind of want to see this just for the hell of it, because I do really like a lot of these characters, and I kind of just want to see one more movie from them. I'm sure it won't be that great, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I also watched the trailer for the Steven Universe movie, and I've only watched like 7 episodes of the show, so I just don't care. My partner's into it, though, and he seems okay with it. Yeah. it's a meh.
I watched the trailer for the English dub of the 4th season of My Hero Academia. I mean, the trailer itself kind of sucks, but I was already hyped, and I don't watch the English dub anyway, so whatever.
Oh, goody. I guess if we're going into TV shows, I'm going to talk about the trailer for the Shudder original TV series Creepshow.
Sure.
Okay, so they're just making a TV show at a Creepshow, and what better time to do it? I'm actually surprised they haven't tried rebooting Tales from the fucking Crypt at this point. It seems a little more jump scare focused than I was hoping, but I'm looking forward to it, and I'm hoping it's okay. But we'll have to kind of wait and see. If we want to talk about trailers I'm more excited for, let's talk about His Dark Materials.
Ooh, that looks good.
That looks really good. I'm so excited.
I haven't read the books. It's one of the series that I always wanted to read but never did. You have read the books?
I have read the books.
Yeah.
I haven't read them in such a long time, but I've read the books.
Yeah. And I guess the Golden Compass movie kind of sucked. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was bad.
Ooh, it is.
This will be nice. It has the girl who played... the
little girl in Logan.
Yeah, Laura Kinney.
Yes.
Who is, side note, also one of my favorite Marvel characters, but she's not playing that here, so who gives a shit. Yes, that looks great. I'm really into it. I kind of wish I hadn't canceled HBO after Game of Thrones, because there's that and there's something else on our list.
Yeah, Watchmen.
Which looks fucking great.
That looks fucking awesome. I'm so glad they're doing a sequel to Watchmen and not just readapting the book. Also, I'm really happy that they're not going the Doomsday Clock route.
Yeah, of just merging it with DC.
Yeah, that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a better Watchmen sequel than Doomsday Clock ever wished it could be.
Yeah.
Also watched the trailer for The Witcher, Stefan.
Looks fine. It looks good.
It looks fine.
I'll probably watch at least the first few episodes.
I have zero investment in the property as a whole, whether it be the books or the games. So
I haven't read the books, and I've played a little bit of The Witcher 3.
Okay.
And all reports I've heard are that from people that have either read the books or played the games is that they're really happy with the trailer. So as far as I'm concerned, that's all that matters.
You excited for The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, speaking of Netflix shows?
I don't think I ever actually watched that trailer, but
really?
I will at some point.
It looks good.
Yeah?
It looks like fun. I mean, it looks like they're doing a lot of the practical puppeteering stuff. So
that's awesome. Good. I'd be disappointed if they did otherwise.
Oh yeah, no, if they were going all CGI, I'd be fucking floored. Because, I mean, like, even the previous trailer was going for the puppeteering thing, and it looks wonderful. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope it goes well. We're going to be doing a sequel to Decay on it.
Yeah.
We're very excited. And the last show was Star Trek Picard.
I never actually saw the trailer. How was that?
It looks fine. I got a little frustrated with how many times they kept, like, shoehorning in a bunch of fan service into the trailer. Like, if you're a Star Trek The Next Generation fan and you just want to see a lot of your favorite characters come back, I think you're going to fucking love the trailer, and I think you're going to be really jazzed for it. I think it looks fine. I don't think it looks great. I think it just looks okay.
Yeah.
I hope it's better than what I've heard Star Trek Discovery is.
I've heard very mixed things about it.
I've heard really mixed things about it, and I don't know if I want to watch it or not.
The Orville looks great, though.
Oh, the Orville's awesome, actually.
Really?
I think it's, like, surprisingly, for a Seth MacFarlane show, I'm surprised at how much I like the Orville. And, yeah, like, oh, God, I really fucking enjoy that show. Like, it feels closer to Star Trek than what I've heard Discovery is. And I'd say it's closer to Star Trek than 2/3 of the J.J. Abrams movies.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. I've been meaning to watch the Orville. We'll get
It's
on that at
really
some point.
good. Like, it's my favorite Seth MacFarlane show by far. And I got 2 more movie trailers I watched. One was kind of a featurette and one was an actual trailer.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Top Gun Maverick.
Which I have no interest in, but go off.
I love watching Tom Cruise do stunts, so I'm excited. And now to talk about Terminator Dark Fate, which basically all they did at the panel was say, 1, the movie's going to be rated R.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I do. And 2, Edward Furlong is going to be reprising his role as John Connor.
What the fuck?
Yeah. What?
It doesn't get any less funny the more you say it. Who was clamoring for Edward Furlong to come back?
Actually, you'll be surprised.
Oh god, I don't want to imagine.
Well, you were saying this to me earlier, like, how many people know of Edward Furlong's existence?
Yeah, I did.
When I told you, you asked me if he was actually dead.
Yeah, I was pretty sure he was dead. I thought he had OD'd, honestly. And he hasn't really been working in forever, either.
No, he hasn't.
He's not really a working actor anymore.
Not really. So I'm surprised he's coming back.
So,
but,
wow.
I mean, at least the movie being rated R is promising, but I still don't have a lot of interest in the movie.
I mean, the movie looks like shit. I think the only positive takeaway is that I'm assuming this means that Edward Furlong is probably in a better place.
Yeah.
So
which is good. Which is good for him.
Yeah, that would be good. But
I'm going hunting.
I'm going hunting.
And now we got to talk about our favorite trailer from Comic-Con. Cats!
Wow.
Holy shit.
Okay.
Jesus motherfucking Christ.
So this movie, this trailer anyway, it makes me want to go full anarcho-primitivist and say, like, society was a mistake. Advancing technologically beyond hunter-gathering societies was a fucking mistake. It's all led to this movie. This is all our fault. This is a monument to man's arrogance. And we need to go back. We need to fucking nuke Hollywood. And basically, we need to do the end of Fight Club. We need to reset society at 0. Because this was the culmination of all our fucking efforts.
I have a question, Stefan.
What?
What the fuck were they thinking? What the fuck made them go, oh, let's just have everyone in CGI cat form trancing around and... I don't know what trancing is.
Prancing?
Prancing, yeah. I don't know why I said trancing. Prancing around and singing Memory. Oh god, and Jennifer Hudson cat is the scariest looking cat I've ever fucking seen in my lifetime.
You're forgetting about the Jason Derulo cat.
Oh fuck right, the Jason Derulo cat. I swear to god, if there is not a scene in this movie where they sing the Jason Derulo thing to the tune of Memory, I'm going to fucking kill myself. Because that is the only way I will fucking go see this thing. Oh my god, it looks so bad. Like, I thought I was on acid for about 2.5 fucking minutes, Stefan.
When they first announced this movie, and I don't know why I remember when they first announced it, I thought that it was going to be like an animated movie.
Well, I think Spielberg's original plan, because I think he was supposed to be a director at one point, was to make it animated.
I kind of would have been down for that. I'm basically thinking like 3D animated Aristocats, but better.
Like,
ideally.
No, I think it was supposed to be 2D. I don't even remember.
Well, I don't fucking know.
But here's the thing. Between this and the new Lion King, what is it with this uncanny valley photorealistic animal humanoid bullshit? What the fuck were they thinking? What the fuck are they doing? Oh, why can't we just, like, stop Tom Hooper while we can? Who at Universal was like, this is great. Great job, guys. Yeah, this is wonderful. Who was the dipshit who approved all this? Who was the dipshit that looked at this trailer and went, mwah, beautiful?
I think what's getting lost in the designs for this is that, like, people thought, like, oh yeah, let's just CGI the cat suits from the musical, without taking into account that A, those cat suits look awful, and B, the musical sucks ass.
No, I should probably say it while I'm here. Andrew Lloyd Webber is a fucking hack.
Yeah.
Are you going to see this movie ironically for the memes?
I refuse to pay money to see this.
Okay.
I'm not.
What if I paid for you?
Well, yeah.
Okay, cool. Can't wait for that one off.
Fun fact, Andrew Lloyd Webber was technically a politician for a while.
Oh, Jesus.
He was in the British equivalent of the Senate, which is called the House of Lords. Because of course it is.
Pompous douchebags.
Sidestep into British politics, I guess, but the House of Lords has like 26 members that are bishops. And the rest are just like appointed, like essentially celebrities or high-ranking party members that are appointed by, I think, the Prime Minister or the cabinet or something. So it's like basically this mishmash of bourgeois democracy, aristocracy, and
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
And I guess religion, which of course is going to work out for everybody. Anyway, that was my tangent on how much Andrew Lloyd Webber can go eat dick.
Anyway, so fuck Cats, fuck Andrew Lloyd Webber, fuck this movie, fuck anyone at Universal who thought that visually this looks stunning, and fuck anyone who thought, let's cast Jason Derulo.
Anyway, thanks for coming to Collider Movie Talk.
Look, we just wanted views, guys, okay?
Yeah. We're completely and utterly shameless.
No, of course not. But anyway, so, Stefan, let's wrap this bitch up. Tell us about the socials.
Okay, so you can find us on Twitter at Decay Sequel. Find us on Facebook, too.
Which is just Sequel Decay.
Sequel Decay. We have a Patreon set up. You're listening to this on YouTube, so we obviously have that.
SoundCloud will figure out eventually.
SoundCloud will figure out, hopefully soon, actually.
You can follow all of us on Twitter. And if you want to find some more of my stuff, I'm actually now a contributor for Scratch Cinema. I actually just found that out today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. Clap one more time. One more time. Keep clapping. Keep clapping. Give me the clap, damn it. Give me the fucking clap. Okay, now we're done. See ya!